Hello fellow artists, join me today while I paint these beautiful poppies in watercolor, show you some tips and tricks for luminescent lighting. So after a quick layer of Winsor yellow for the background, while it's still wet, I'm adding Van Dyke brown and burnt sienna to create the wheatgrass in the background. And you can see it's super wet. That's why I'm getting that really cool bleed. And I want different colors of brown. I want the different values. So that's why you see the darker browns, which is Van Dyke brown, burnt sienna, which gives it depth. Now with a creamy consistency puddle in my palette, I am using Winsor red and just dropping in the color while it's still really wet. And you can see how it's kind of bleeding out. Then I go in, break up the red, and do yellow. This is Winsor yellow. And when it dries, it creates a really pretty luminance orange. For the poppy, I wet only the area where I want the poppy with water first. Then I drop in my red color, which is Winsor red. Then I drop in the yellow. When they blend on the paper, they make a beautiful orange color. Dropping a little green in there while it's still wet so it bleeds into the poppy. Then add the stem and a little bud, and I'm gonna let it dry. Everything is dry. What I'm gonna do is just add some poppies and some little buds. If you like this video, then please hit like and subscribe so I can make more for you. Thank you. What I'm gonna do here is just, I'm gonna do the poppy over here that's kind of in the sun. So I'm gonna make the little kidney, make the kidney shape. This one's a little bit more round, so I think I'm gonna get a little bit more round. I'm just putting down water, clean water. Then I have my brushes already here, and I'm gonna do the yellow first. And I'm gonna drop it in there. Just drop it right in there. So just see if I can zoom in a little bit. Drop it right in there. There's kind of a lot of yellow. Then I have my brushes ready to go, so I'm not mixing, spending too much time mixing. Now I'm gonna drop my red in and a lot of water. And I think it's gonna be a little too much yellow over here. So I'm gonna pick it up with a clean brush. And it's okay if I get a little water or a bloom effect. That's kind of what I'm going for. There. So I purposely dropped some water in there because I want it lighter. So I'm gonna let it dry just a minute. And then I'm gonna blot it up with a tissue so it looks like the sun is coming through it, which is what we were doing in class. So I'm gonna just leave that. And then I'm gonna do one right here, and this one isn't completely open. So I'm gonna do one poppy, I think right here. It's kind of like a little teacup poppy, teacup shape. And this time I'm gonna do the red first because it's a darker poppy, so I want to keep it kind of dark. I don't want it to be center stage, so I'm gonna leave that. I'll put a little yellow just on the tip for the sun, so kind of like representing the sun hitting it. And then I'm keeping my eye on this one. I'm gonna get a tissue. And I think I'm gonna blot it now before it gets the edges get too hard. There we go. Just a little. You can kind of see how wet, it's still wet. So I'm gonna do just a little blot. It's okay if it gets a little messy, I don't mind. There. Good, now that will dry, and yeah, hopefully it'll look like the sun is just peeking, is going through the petals. Now this guy is looking pretty good. I'm liking it, but I think I'm gonna do a little more yellow right from the palette. Stronger pigment. And there we go. Gonna let that just do its thing. Now while it's still wet though, I am gonna add a little green. I have some green already made up here. And I like this green. This is a ultramarine blue and my yellow that I'm using, which is Winsor yellow. And I'm just gonna touch a little green in there. And again, while it's still wet. And just gonna speed it up here and making some more poppies. Going to use a spray bottle here in the lower corner just because I didn't want any hard edges. So I wanted the paper really wet. So I just spray it with a little spray bottle, put in some green, some little red for some poppies down there. And I know it's gonna dry a lot lighter because it's really wet. So that's why my pigment right now is very creamy. It's very thick because I want a strong pigment now on my final layers. Then I get a creamy green, my kind of forest green, and make some hard edges. Now I'm kind of going for the hard edges there for my final layer. And of course, some happy yellow splashes. And the exciting tape removal to reveal a nice border there, which really makes all the difference in the world when you have a nice clean border. So there are the happy poppies. Thank you for watching, fellow artists. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.